Hey guys, welcome back to Carsonian Beans. I am another NFL video. Now that I'm doing this, I probably should start making my channel name. Probably should change it from Carsonian Beans to like Carsonian Sports or some crap. I don't know. Anyways, today, I apologize for the boring screen, but we're doing running back core rankings. So basically, I looked at the first two running backs on every single team, just to see what kind of skill they had, and I ranked them all. And I know what you're thinking, Carson, what the heck, man? Like, what if a team only uses one running back and the other running back doesn't get any playing time? Well, that's too bad, because really they are worse, because if the main running back gets hurt, then that second running back who doesn't have any experience is going to do badly. Other than like a team that has two great running backs, if one gets hurt, then they still have the other. Alright, sorry, that was my brother. It stopped raining and he was telling me. Anyways, so let's go ahead and by the way, someone told me, I'm not going to say who it is, but it doesn't really matter, told me that my notes that I take, because most people tell me, oh, you need to start watching football. I've been watching football for the last few years, like every single week. I've been looking at all the stats, everything, like really watching it. And he said, oh, your notes are terrible. I put down stats, facts. I'm not taking down like, oh, he's terrible. Oh, I'm putting down straight facts, like what teams they came from, the schemes of everything. Like I have pages of this stuff. And he was sitting there, this guy was sitting, I assume it's a he, was sitting there saying, hey, man, I don't know what kind of notes you take, but they're incorrect. I'm like, you can't get more correct than the notes I have. Maybe your opinions are wrong. And also, a lot of people, I'm going to get into the video really soon. A lot of people have been telling me, like, hey, man, everyone thinks, like somebody told me, he was polite, this guy. He told me that since everybody thinks that the Chiefs are better than the 49ers, that I should have put the Chiefs above the 49ers in my power rankings. I had the 49ers number one. And, going through everything, I looked and I thought, with the players and the schedule they have, I thought that the 49ers were the best team in the league right now. Anyways, 32, the Lions. They got Kerryon Johnson, but, even he had a 3.6 yard average. No one's talking about DeAndre Swift, but he didn't get very many carries. The thing that really puts him down is the fact that unless Matt Stafford does as good as he did, as good as he did like a few years ago, they could be relying heavily on the run. And yes, I know DeAndre Swift is a rookie, and looking at his rookie stats compared to all the other rookie stats, he is not a very good. He's a good running back, of course, for college, but he might be just like a below average. So, I'm gonna have to put them in last, because they have an iffy running back. I feel like running back is a bad position. I feel like rookie wide receivers, there's a lot of talent there. They're young, they're healthy. But I feel like running backs and quarterbacks and really any other position, halfbacks, whatever, it is hard to get into it. So the Lions going 32. Now this does not put them far behind the next team, the Bengals. Every single team is really close together, okay? Like 32 is really close to 31, and 32 is really close to 30. It's really, really close, but as you get towards, there's no way that who I have number one spot. Never mind. Alright, in 31st spot, I have the Bengals. They have Joe Mixon and Giovanni Bernard. Giovanni Bernard is their second, of course. Joe Mixon is first. And he had 0 touchdowns last year, only 53 carries. He's like I was saying earlier, he's not a very active running back. I think that they're kind of relying on Joe Mixon, and he has a 4.1 average, but in 278 attempts, he has 5 touchdowns. And again, compared to all the others, that just puts the Bengals below them, okay? So pretty much at the bottom is the Bengals. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say, these are the teams that are pretty bad, bottom of the barrel. All right, then we have a surprise to a lot of people. I put the Rams down here. And the reason that I have the Rams down here is because, look, they've got Darrell Henderson, who had no touchdowns last year and only 39 carries, right? Because they got rid of Todd Gurley. So they traded Todd Gurley to the Falcons, or they released him in the Falcons. Somehow the Falcons got him. They got rid of him. Now they have Henderson, who had that good playoff game a few years back. And Cam Akers, who seems to be a pretty, one of the best running backs that I can see from college. He's a rookie. And, that puts him 30th. I mean, this is still really low, but the fact that they have one of the best rookies on here, the fact that Henderson did have that good game, I think it was against the Cowboys. He probably could do that again, but there's that possibility that they could be really good. I think, sorry, my brother's screaming outside. But yeah, I think the Rams are sprung on here. All right, in 29th, we have the Dolphins. All right, let me just find them. The Dolphins. All right, so they've got Jordan Howard and Matt Breida. Matt Breida, of course, coming from the 49ers. I don't know. And there's nothing really I can say except for that these two don't impress me with their stats. Matt Breida is probably their best bet. He only had one touchdown last year, though. Jordan Howard, he kind of puts him above the other three below him. But yeah, I had the Dolphins down here. And then in 28th, we have the Eagles. They've been down at the bottom in a lot of these categories for good reason. And I mean, they've got Miles Sanders and Boston Scott. Miles, I know what you're thinking. Oh, Miles Sanders, wow, he's so good. He only had 3 touchdowns, right? And a 4.6 average. Okay, that's pretty good. But unless you look, you can't look at it. But their second running back, Boston Scott, he only had 61 carries last year, but he had 5 touchdowns. And he had around the same average of yards. So that tells me that Boston Scott is probably actually better than Miles Sanders. Because that probably means that, one, either he's getting big yards whenever they run him, that's how he's getting all those touchdowns. Or 2, they trust him enough that they would rather put Boston Scott in whenever they're on the goal line than Miles Sanders, and that's why he's getting all these touchdowns. So that's why I put the Eagles down here, because it seems like there's bad decision making. I think that Boston Scott should be their number 1 running back and not Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is pretty good, but I think a lot of the decision making is what ruins the Eagles for me here. They could definitely be better. 27th, we have the Chargers. And the Chargers, Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson. If it was Austin Eckler, he is an above average running back. He's not above average. I mean, he's got 4.2 average yards. He is pretty, I'll say he's pretty okay. 3 touchdowns last year. But here's what I have a problem with. Their second string, Justin Jackson, only 29 carries, 7 yards per carry. That is the same thing as the Eagles. Not only, and he has 0 touchdowns. So that really makes it, if they both weren't so much better than Miles Sanders and Boston Scott, the Chargers would be behind the Eagles. It seems like they should be putting in Justin Jackson and not Austin Eckler. And this guy, he wasn't from a trade. He wasn't a rookie. This guy was on their team last year, and they saw that he was having 7 yards per carry, and they didn't put him in there. And, that just kills it for me. All right, in 26, we have the Jaguars. I know y'all were waiting for him. Leonard Fournette really keeps them up. They got Chris Thompson from the Redskins last year, or this offseason. And Leonard Fournette, they're trying to trade him. They're trying to get rid of him. And that shows, he had 265 carries last year, right? Only 3 touchdowns, 4.3 yards per carry. And And the fact that they're trying to get rid of him kind of amplifies his mediocre stats. Now, he is above, like, the other 6 teams below him. In that, you know, he does have above 1,000 yards. Like, everyone knows who Leonard Fournette is. He has made a name for himself in the NFL. He is pretty good. And their second string, Chris Thompson, he's not bad either. Yeah, I mean, well, he's bad. He had 3.7 yards per carry. That's not terrible, but it's bad. That's why you're 26, Jaguars. Really, you should be lower, but whatever. 25th, we have the Steelers. The guy who was getting mad at me, he was a Steelers fan. He thinks that since he thinks the Steelers are better, that everyone should. And I mean, whatever. Steelers, I'm going to find out if he thinks that the Steelers running backs are good today. I assure you that. But they've got James Conner, okay, and Jalen Samuels. All right, so they seem to be using these two pretty much the same. 66 carries for Jalen Samuels, 116 for James Conner. I know that's not close, but it is closer than a lot of other teams. And that says to me, look, they trust these guys, okay? And Jalen Samuels, he only had one tip, but here's the thing that really rams him into the ground. Jalen Samuels, 66 carries, 2.7 yards per carry, right? Maybe James Conner. 116 carries, 4 touchdowns, and 4 yards per carry. You can't be going downfield with these two. And I do like the fact that they have them split. I mean, that shows to me, like I was saying earlier, they've got 2 okay running backs, all right? So, I mean, 5 TDs combined. Let's see what the Steelers can do. On 24, we have the Bears. David Montgomery and Tariq Cohen. 3.3. Both of these guys don't have above 4 yards per carry. David's got 3.7 yards per carry, and Tariq's got 3.3 yards per carry. Tariq, of course, got 0 touchdowns. He's mainly a kick returner. That's what Tariq Cohen is. David Montgomery, he's okay. And I think, like I said with a lot of these teams, or with some other team, I think it was like the Lions, this is a okay running back situation. If you have a solid passing game, then this is a great one. But the fact is, they're going to have either Nick Foles or Mitch Trubisky in there, and both of those guys don't look good. I mean, Nick Foles, he looked perfect when he was playing, whenever he wasn't starting for the Eagles. I mean, like when he came in at the end of the season when Carson Wentz was injured, that was when he was at his prime. He hasn't looked good when he has started. So if they're both going bad and they have to rely heavily on the run, then these two are not going to get it done. They're going to have to do some trading or something, because I'm telling you, but this is not going to work. On 23rd, we have the Texans. All right, so the Texans, David Johnson, Duke Johnson, 2 Johnsons. David Johnson, of course, I think he might have been on the Cardinals. I don't know. And I mean, they both got 2 touchdowns last year. They both got around the same amount of carries, which shows me that David Johnson may not have been the Cardinals' main running back. All right. And I mean, 3.7 carries for David Johnson and 4.9 yards per carry for Duke Johnson is great. But the fact that both of these only got 2, I mean, they're okay. I mean, this is like okay territory right now. They aren't bad, but they definitely aren't good enough to get into the top 20. 22, we have the Cardinals. I was just talking about them. All right, and the Cardinals, they got Kenyon Drake last year, I think, and Chase Edmonds in here. All right, so Kenyon Drake, 170 carries, 817 yards, 4.8 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns for him, and 170 carries. That is good. Chase Edmonds, 60 carries, 5.1 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns, 303 yards. Both of these guys, I feel, are mediocre. They're not like top of the line. I feel like if Kenyon Drake gets hurt, or even if they just don't want to use him right now, they have 2 okay running backs. And it's kind of the same thing with the Bears. If Kyler Murray doesn't do as good as a lot of people are saying that he might, and as I don't think he's going to do very good, then they're going to be relying heavily on the running game. And while I think that they can get farther than the Bears, that's why I have them 2 spots above, I do not think that they probably can win. Like, if they went like full on running and like only had like 1 passing play per game, which I know is never going to happen, never has happened since like 1920, I don't know, they probably could win 1 game. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah. 21, we have the Giants. They are really all the way up here just because Saquon Barkley, the name, Saquon Barkley. He didn't look as good last year as he did in his rookie year. He looked like a running back he looked like a above average running back, which is okay for him. I think he was injured for a little while, something like that. But if he has the same decline that he had from his rookie year to last year, this year, if he has the same decline from last year to this year that he had from his rookie year to last year, then he could be pretty bad. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not saying I think that's what's going to happen. But also, you got to look at Wayne Gallman, and 29 carries, 3.8 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, though. That's okay. So I'm feeling like if Saquon Barkley is good, then this running back room is at near the top. But if he's bad, then they have to kind of even it out from 217 carries for Saquon and 29 carries from Wayne Gallman, and they have to even it out. I feel like they could be even lower. Right? So a lot of these teams in the middle here, it depends a lot on it's in the balance. Like, is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? And that's kind of like, all right, let's just put them down here. 20, we have the Seahawks. Boo, boo, why'd you have the Seahawks down here? Chris Carson, he shares my, his last name is my first name. And Rashad Penny. Chris Carson is might be like the first good. We've had like a lot of above average, but this is like the first good running back we've had. And to say that he's not great, he's not really good, he's just good. He is someone that you can rely on. I think a lot of their running is being done by Russell Wilson, or was. And really, I feel like they have a better, they've 12 teams behind them, heck. But Rashad Penny, he's also looking pretty good. So, you've got an average in Rashad Penny. You got above average, good, to above average to good in Chris Carson. And I just think this is where looking at the other teams, this is where they belong. All right, in 19, we have the Raiders. All right, so Josh Jacobs looked amazing last year. He was great. People were like making fun of him. People saying that they always say like, "Oh, the Raiders wasting their draft picks." And no, Josh Jacobs was one of the best running backs last year. I might be mistaken, but he probably should, if he wasn't, have been a Rookie of the Year candidate. I'm sorry that the screen went all sideways. I didn't mean to do that. But I'm also scared because you see what Saquon Barkley did last year. If he does the same thing, and he didn't have Barkley-like numbers, he could become just like another kind of below average. But I didn't put him in the 20s. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that was a Barkley thing. Because he has like numbers that Barkley had last year. He got 7 touchdowns. That's great. He's holding this team up to 19th. This is like they aren't bad being in 19th. All right? But Jalen Richard, only 3.7 yards per carry, no touchdowns, only 145 yards. If he was if y'all had 2 Josh Jacobs, it'd be amazing. But really, I mean, there's only a few running backs, and you'll see them in the top 5, that if you have them on your team, it doesn't matter who your second is, really. But the Raiders, I mean, Josh Jacobs, he's looked like someone who could become an Adrian Peterson. He could become a can't think of any other amazing running backs. I'm sorry, but it's gonna be for the future to see. 18th Buccaneers, baby. I'm not a Buccaneers fan. Don't want to say it like that. They have Ronald Jones, who had 6 touchdowns last year, 4.2 yards per carry, and then they've got Keyshawn Vaughan, I don't know. It's Vaughn. That's what his last name is. And he was okay for the all the rookie numbers I'm seeing right now. He is in the middle of that. He could be a Ronald Jones. He had 5.2 yards per carry. He had 198 carries for 1,028 yards, 9 touchdowns, which wasn't very good, but the rest of his stats held him up. And, there's a lot of things, I try to, say things, but, I know that the teams that are better than them on here, I think, are better. And that's what I have to say. The Buccaneers are 18th. The 14 teams behind them, I think, are worse than them. And the 18 teams above, I don't know. 17, we have the Redskins. A lot of y'all were getting mad at me because I had the Redskins in 7th for my receivers, and that's nope. Anyways, that was true. The 7th. I'm just saying y'all were stupid. Anyway, 17th Redskins. Y'all aren't stupid. I was just saying that was dumb. Oh no, I just screwed myself. Oh no. 17 Redskins. We have Darius Geis. When he was on the field last year, he was injured twice last year. Oh, okay, let's talk about this. 2 years ago, in the 2018 draft, he was drafted, right? Preseason game, he hurts himself. He gets injured, out for that whole season. The next season, he's looking good. Week 1, he gets hurt. He comes back late in the season, and he's great. Amazing. He shows himself to be a very good running back while he was on the field. And they've got Adrian Peterson, who showed himself to be a very good running back. I mean, he already has his career. I mean, he hasn't really slowed. He had to slow down a bit, but he is still one of the best running backs in the league right now. It's just if Darius Geis, if he gets hurt again, then that could, because they were a lot better when he was on the field. He helped them a lot. He had some 60-yard run at a Panthers game that I was at when he was against the Panthers, and took him all the way down the field. And I mean, if Dwayne Haskins, he's looking like he's gonna step it up. I mean, Dwayne Haskins is looking good, but if he doesn't, then they're gonna be heavily relying on Darius Geis and Adrian Peterson. And the fact that they're not back there with the Bears and the Cardinals is because they have Adrian Peterson, Darius Geis. They have one of the best running back rooms. It's just if they are heavily relied on early in the season, and it's Geis being injured and all this, it just throws them into 17th. They probably should be in top 5, but I'm putting them in 17th. I don't know why that's blue, but we have the 49ers. I'm not going to change that because I don't want to, but whatever. Raheem Mostert and Tevin Coleman. Both of these guys got the exact same number of carries. Both of them got 137 carries each. Raheem Mostert had 8 touchdowns. Tevin Coleman had 6 touchdowns. I mean, they both seem to be above average running backs, and they both seem to be used the same. And, I mean, that's just right there in the middle. 49ers. They both are good running backs. Yeah. 15, we have the Colts. Marlon Mack is a great running back. 247 carries, 1,091 yards, 8 touchdowns. Boom. And then, in my opinion, probably, almost definitely, let me a second. I have to check one thing. Yeah, he is probably by far the best rookie running back on here. But then again, he's a rookie. We're talking about Jonathan Taylor. He had 320 carries, 6.3 yards per carry, and that's 2,003 yards, and wait for it, 21 touchdowns. That's insane. If he wasn't a rookie and he had those kind of numbers, that's like rookie of the year, no other candidates. He's Hall of Fame in his first year. Yellow jacket on before his second season. But the fact that he's a rookie, I mean, if you have a rookie on your team, it's just like, whoa, that was loud. Right off a cliff. Marlon Mack. Ooh. 14, Patriots. Alright, didn't know I put them up here. Sony Michel, James White. Sony Michel, he has been looking good. He showed himself to be great in a playoff game 2 years ago. And this year, he had 247 carries, 3.7 yards per carry. 7 touchdowns? 3.7 yards per carry. 112 yards? 3.7 yards per carry. I mean, really. But, I mean, I know I was acting like, oh, all of his stats are good except for some. But, I mean, he just doesn't look good. And James White, I mean, there's just the 13 teams above him, I promise, are better. Y'all probably just... No one's watching up here. I could literally start, like, saying slurs. I'm not going to. I never have. I've screwed myself so many times in this thing. Alright, Le'Veon Bell. Alright. And Frank Gore. They got Frank Gore. Frank Gore coming from the Bills. Frank Gore seems to be... He was good for the Bills. But Le'Veon Bell, he wasn't good. He had 3.2 yards per carry. He was used 245 times. But he is Le'Veon Bell, and it is Frank Gore, and that's 13th for me. I'm running out of things to say. I mean, it's a 27-minute long video already. Nobody's watching it. If you are, then please comment, I'm watching it, until the point when you said guacamole. Please. I mean, that'll inspire me so much. I don't get to see, like, when people leave. Like, oh yeah, most people, only one person stayed until 27 minutes. Please just let me know. 12, we have the Cowboys. Looking at this, I mean, really, they've got Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott is above average. He's not good. 301 carries and 4.5 yards per carry. He is probably into the really good category, actually. I don't really have categories going. I could probably do a tier list. And he had 12 touchdowns, which is good. Probably because he used him on the goal line. Tony Pollard is okay. I mean, there's 12. 11, we have the Vikings. And they've got Dalvin Cook, who is amazing. I mean, he's really good. He is up there. And if you watched him play last year, I mean, he got 13 touchdowns. And he had 51 less carries than Ezekiel Elliott. That's why they're above here. Alexander Mattison doesn't really help him at all. If Alexander Mattison was really good, then they would probably be into the top 10. Speaking of the top 10, here are the Broncos. All right. I was talking down on them a lot in my last few videos, and here they are. Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay, two good running backs. Both being used. I guess they were. But if they are used in the same amounts, this team is taking off 7 touchdowns and 8 touchdowns, not respectively the other way around. I mean, they're above average, but it's the fact that Melvin Gordon only has 3.8 yards per carry and Phillip Lindsay has 4.5. And I'm also, if they aren't used in the same rate and one of them is put behind, and like if one is used like as a trading material, like if they trade Melvin Gordon or Phillip Lindsay, that's no fun. Come on. And 9 is italic, and I couldn't figure out how to make it not. I'm not a tech whiz, okay? Don't blame me. Some people, man, always tell me I'm not a tech whiz. Alvin Kamara? You don't put Alvin Kamara outside the top 10. I'm telling you. He had 4.7 yards per carry. I mean, he only had 171 carries. They've also got Latavius Murray, who seems to be a very good second stringer. He wasn't second string. He had the same amount of touchdowns. They both had 5 touchdowns. It's just the fact, Alvin Kamara is amazing. He's one of the best. Latavius Murray, he's pretty good too. I mean, you've got a really good and then an elite. Alvin Kamara is elite. One of the first elite we have so far. Yeah. In 8th, we have the Browns. 30 minutes already. Ooh. All right, the Browns. Here we go. Where are the Browns? All right, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Nick Chubb, He was good last year, but I think it was mainly because they didn't use Kareem Hunt at all. I think he was either suspended or hurt or something. Kareem Hunt, if Kareem Hunt is good and amazing, and I'm sure he will be, which is why he's in 8th, then this team is going to be better. And Nick Chubb, if you look at this, he had 5 yards per carry. That's good. 8 touchdowns and 298 carries, 1,494 yards. So that's pretty good. Kareem Hunt is probably elite. 7, we have the Falcons. They are helped out a lot by the fact that they got Todd Gurley. I'm telling you, man, 12 touchdowns last year, 857 yards, 223 carries. This guy, Todd Gurley, is a beast. He is elite on top of elite on top of elite, and that propels the Falcons to so many layers. And then they've got Ito Smith, who had 4.8 yards per carry last year and a touchdown in 22 carries. This guy, if they use him, then they could be top 5. This is pretty good. 6th, we have the Ravens. We are entering this is pretty good. I mean, if you're up here, then your running back room is, you don't need to get anybody else. All right, let's find the Ravens, shall we? All right, Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins, who, oh no. Oh, yeah. J.K. Dobbins, the rookie, he also had 21 touchdowns like Jonathan Taylor of the Colts. This guy, they've got Mark Ingram, who had 5 yards per carry and 10 touchdowns. They get J.K. Dobbins, who had 6.7 yards per carry, which is 0.4 more yards per carry than Jonathan Taylor did. He had the same amount of touchdowns and 19 less carries. He's probably, they had the same amount of yards, which is funny. But anyways, the Ravens, Mark Ingram, they have 2 potentially amazing. If like I said, if the Colts, if Jonathan Taylor was a first year last year, if he wasn't a rookie, then he'd be up here. And if the Ravens, if J.K. Dobbins wasn't a rookie, they might be in top 2, right? In 5th, we have the Packers, top 5, top of the line, amazingness. Wow. Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams. Aaron Jones with 16 touchdowns last year, 4.6 yards per carry. Jamal Williams with a touchdown and 107 yards per carry. If Jamal Williams' touchdowns were more, if he had more touchdowns last year, then they might be farther up. But top 5, they are 5th. 4, we have the Bills. The Bills had great wide receivers last week. 2 days ago. And now they have great running back. All right. Running backs. Let me find this. All right. Devin Singletary, Zach Moss. Zach Moss is another really good. He had 6 yards per carry, 15 touchdowns. Not the best, but definitely one of the best running backs. He's a rookie coming out of college. All right, Devin Singletary, 5.1 yards per carry. He's only used 151 times. They got rid of Frank Gore, remember? 775 yards. If they use Devin Singletary more and Zach Moss is really good, then this is definitely a spot where they belong. Number 3, the Panthers. This is like, they don't really even need their second string. Christian McCaffrey. Ooh, the Panthers really should have been number 1. Christian McCaffrey, probably the best running back, might be the best. He had 4.8 yards per carry, 15 touchdowns. Did you watch this guy? They're going to rely heavily on him. He's going to be their whole offense for the next few years. And I think they might win some games just using him. And they are propelled up here by the fact that they have Reggie Bonifant with only 16 carries, got a touchdown, 7.3 yards per carry for Reggie Bonifant. I mean, this is a stacked running back from the Panthers. I mean, if they just run and they run heavy, I was clapping. If they could if they get their wide receivers good, and if Teddy Bridgewater is amazing, this team could low-key get to the playoffs. And I don't think they will, though. Number 2, y'all been waiting for him. It's my boys, the Chiefs. All right, the Chiefs. I can never find the Chiefs. We have Damian Williams and Clyde Edwards. People were saying, I mean, he fits into their scheme really well, Clyde Edwards. He has 6.6 yards per carry. Damian Williams is 4.5, 111, 5 touchdowns. This is top of the line. You want this right here, Damian Williams, Clyde Edwards. In number 1, you already know who it is. It's Derrick Henry and the Titans. Not only do they have Derrick Henry, 5.1 yards per carry, 303 carries, the most of the entire league last year. They got De'Anton Evans, the rookie out of some college, I don't know, 5.8 yards per carry. I mean, this is perfection. You want the Titans. That's all I have to say. Thanks for watching on the way here. Okay? I mean, if you're watching to the end, comment. I just want comments, y'all. If you did watch to the end, though, you don't even have to say anything. Just know, honestly, I don't think anyone will, like, ever, in the history of ever. Because I don't think I'll take off and people come back here and pick this song video. If you are watching it right now, just know that I honestly, like, 32 minutes, that helps me out is significantly with my channel. Like, one of my friends came on here and he spent like 20 minutes watching my channel, doubled my views. I am not kidding. He doubled my monthly views watching like 30 minutes. So the fact that you're watching this, you're not going to double it because my channel is kind of taking off right now, I'm not going to lie. But you definitely, I mean, I just know I have, like, I am grateful beyond words for you. I mean, this is all I want. You are spectacular. You are amazing. All right, bye. 40 minutes, dang. I wasted somebody's